Hey everyone, happy Friday. I hope you had an awesome week. Welcome to Finance Friday. I'm Amy Novakovich, certified financial planner and CEO and co-founder of Nova Wealth Management. Find us on Twitter at Nova Wealth Management, management's abbreviated, or me at Amy Novakovich. Also on Instagram and our YouTube channel, go ahead, check it out. We do this show for two main reasons, a lot of reasons, but two main reasons. To really educate you and give you that armor so you never get taken advantage of in this space. The second reason is to give you that foundation so that your money, you're not a slave to your money, so that we can build your foundation of you. And that is where my guest today comes in. We don't want you to be in slavery with your money. We want you to transform your relationship with your money. And part of that transformation is working on your foundation, your walk through life, working on none other than you. We are fortunate today to have the pleasure of speaking with a legend, an international motivational speaker, author, life coach, and pastor. He has inspired people from all walks of life, from entertainment legends, I'll get to them in a minute, to professional athletes, corporate executives to deprived children throughout the world in 75 countries, probably more by now. I know you're heading out next week. He currently still leads the Congregation Church in California. He was a featured guest on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, Steve Harvey TV, and Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Con, which is where I met him. Tim has authored multiple books, with the most recent Comeback and Beyond, which is already a top seller on Amazon. Tim Storey, thank you so much for being here. I am so honored to have you here.
My goodness, I'm on your show.
You're on a show. Yay, we made it.
Amy, tell them how far back we go in life.
Right.
Tell them.
Last year in Miami, Tim started talking to me at the buffet line, and it was like, oh my gosh. And the rest is history.
And we just started talking about life and things and your
growth
kids
and conquering the world.
Else.
Yeah, all that stuff. You do. Oh my gosh, you do have a great memory. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I really pay attention.
You do.
You got to pay attention to people. And let me tell you one reason. Number one, everybody's valuable, right?
Right.
And secondly, sometimes you're meeting people for a reason. And I think some people...
Everything happens for a reason, doesn't it?
Yeah, they rush through life sometimes so much, and they really are not paying attention to what's right in front of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I pay attention.
Everything that's right in front of you, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So of course we're going to get to so much. I know what's in your head, so much good content. But first, I really want the people that may not know you to know you and your story, because you're from Compton, California. You've got this crazy story. Would you just please start with who you are and your story and how you grew up and how you came to be you?
Okay. So I think that, I was raised like a lot of people in a common thinking family.
Right.
My mother worked at a place called Winchell's Donut Shop. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
Okay. So it's a donut shop. And my father was a steel worker. We had 7 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. So we were very common.
That is insane.
Yeah, the ceiling was very low.
Did you do bunk beds? Did you do bunk beds?
We had total bunk beds. We were bunk bedded out, and then people lived in the living room. But I always say this is that we were lower income, but we were never lower class. Everything was super organized. Everything was very super clean. I knew how to wash dishes. I could sew a button. When we finally got a house, my sisters, who are all pretty, know how to mow the lawn.
Oh my gosh. So you all worked as a team. See, I need you to talk to my kids.
Yeah, exactly. So, but here's a really cool story, Amy. When I was in 6th grade, I had a teacher that one day he said to me, Timmy, would you stay after class? I said, okay. So I had no idea, Amy, why he wanted me to stay after class. And I remember I came up to his desk, I was kind of nervous, and he said to me, he says, Timmy, why don't you stay after class? Because there was a long pause. I didn't know if he was going to say, you are a great dancer, because I had won the dance contest.
Oh, very good.
Or you are a great basketball player, because I was good. But he goes, you are, pause, he goes, brilliant. You are brilliant. And he says, because of your brilliance, I want to see if you're open to start reading some other books that are from my personal library. Can you imagine this?
No.
So he labeled me brilliant in 6th grade.
Oh.
And I bought into what he said. When he said I was brilliant, because I looked up to him, I believed what he said and I went with it.
So you lived your life all through school with that mindset of I am brilliant and I'm going to do brilliant things.
100%. He branded me brilliant.
Just from one person saying this to you.
And he was right.
Of course he was right. Of course he was right. So how did you move from being in this, you know, what you call average family, common family,
Yes.
and then start a church and start working with people like Smokey Robinson, I know is your good friend, and Quincy Jones. And I mean, my goodness. So what happened in the middle?
Okay. So what happens in the middle is that when I'm in high school,
okay. Which you were really good at sports, right? You played a lot of sports.
I was good in sports. When I was in high school, I started to get a heart for people. See, I think our dream that's inside of us, and you know this about your own life, your dream has a voice. So your dream will talk to you.
Yes.
So I noticed that I always cared about the underdog.
Okay.
If somebody was hurting and I saw them crossing the street, I paid attention. Or somebody that I saw on TV where there was a documentary about people hurting in another country, I paid attention. So I decided to go to seminary, but to be a humanitarian. I wanted to be like a cool, hip Mother Teresa.
Got it.
So I ended up going to seminary.
Good plan. It's a good plan.
I ended up getting my doctorate in world religion.
Oh my
But
goodness.
even while I was in seminary, when I was 19 years of age, I started creating my own motivational, inspirational, uplifting course for inner city kids.
Okay.
So I was 19 and a half in Florida, going to inner city schools, motivating on dreams. At 20, I started going overseas doing this to different cities in Europe.
So this is when you started traveling when you were 20.
20 years of age, it takes off.
Yeah.
21, I'm speaking to a lot of people. By the time I was 27, I was getting gigantic crowds. But I just think it was meant to be, you know? It was meant to be.
You were led in that direction, right? And I know you believe that. You were meant to go that way. So who was the first person that you remember working with that was like, you know, famous?
Well, I think that when I was in my early 20s, I was speaking somewhere and I looked out in the audience and there was Denzel Washington.
Oh my God.
And I was actually in Miami and he lives in LA. And I remember after he came up to me and I asked him what he was doing there. And he said he has some friends that had seen me speak. He was working on a movie there. And he said, Tim, you're just so doggone creative. You have a way about you. You're taking biblical concepts and making them real. So I knew I was onto something.
Yeah.
So then later on, you know, we do a Hollywood Bible study. I'm only super young. And it's Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, it's James Caan, it's Elliot Gould. And then we move on to Robert Downey, Charlie Sheen, Kanye West, and then the rest is history.
So when you started doing this at such a young age, did you really know what kind of a gift you had, or you were just kind of flying by the seat of your pants? Or did you know you were really doing something special at that point?
Okay, number one, I felt that I knew I was onto something.
Yeah, but not sure what.
But not sure what. And that's very important for people to know.
Well, and there's a lot of younger people that do watch this too. So I just want to make sure that they realize the impact of this.
So what I would say though, is that there's a reason, Amy, why I believe that a lot of this happened. Okay. Is that one is because of my spiritual background, I believe that it was a God idea. There's a difference between a good idea and a God idea. I believe that I was called, it's a God idea.
Yes.
Secondly, I work my land. Like already, I've been up super early. I've life coached a lot of people today already. I bust my butt. I have like 8 jobs. I own businesses. I have 3 TV shows. We have plays. We have movies. I work super hard.
You have a lot of free time, is what you're telling me.
Exactly. That's what I just told you. So I work my land. So let me explain this to you.
Okay.
So one of the proverbs says, he who works his land shall have abundance.
Yes.
Okay. What is your land? Your land's in front of you. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the 7th grade, work your 7th grade land. If you're a single mother, work your single mother land. Whatever you are, wherever you are, work your land. So how do you work your land? Here we go. You got to plow the ground. Plow. Secondly,
prepare it.
Yep, you got to plow. Secondly, you got to plant the right seed. Amy, every day I'm planting the right seed, man.
I know it.
I was at a diner this morning. People were coming up to me, but I plant good seed. I take my time. I talk to them. If they've seen me on something, I take my time.
Remember.
I plant seed. I plow. I plant. I water.
And then water.
Water is to nourish. Got to nourish your dream and your goal. Okay? Plow, plant, water. Guess what's going to happen? Harvest.
Will grow, yeah.
Payday's on its way. So in my career, I was always working my land. It's like that rap song. Every day I'm hustling.
Every day I'm
hustling. So I'm a hustler. I plow, I plant, I water, and then bam.
So you talk about, in a lot of, well, when I've heard you speak too, you talk about the almost life. So if you want to, elaborate on that a little bit, on what, the Lord has called us to do and living versus living the almost life. You want to talk about that for a minute for me?
So a lot of what I come up with is out of my observations. Okay. So people say, like, how do you come up with these speeches? I don't study a bunch of motivators. I just don't. If I watch somebody who's a speaker, it's usually a comedian.
Okay.
I think comedians have the best timing of any speakers. I think too many life coaches, they speak like life coaches, and I don't want to talk like that.
Yeah.
So this idea
preaching, like almost preach, like lecturing almost, right?
Like a lecture, yeah.
Yeah.
So the almost life, I saw so many people almost do things. The word almost means not quite. Watch. Nearly. Okay.
Yeah.
So I almost lost the weight. The relationship almost worked. I almost did this. So almost is where most people are. Almost. Right. Almost. Yeah. Oh, nearly. Almost. Oh my gosh. I almost dated Justin Timberlake.
It's all relative.
Okay. So almost is not quite.
Right.
If you're not careful, you will get stuck in an almost life. So there's all these studies that have been done that people say at the end of their life, okay. That most people say it almost worked. Mm-hmm. Dream almost worked, things almost worked. Very few people, a small percentage, actually finish what they start. So they're living almost. So we have 3 levels of living: almost, most. Most is good.
Most is great.
But most is still not the best. Watch. Because most, to me, Amy, if I was to let go a helium balloon in this house, it would go, 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 go. Bam, it would stop at the ceiling.
Yes.
You don't have a ceiling, nor do I. You believe that?
Yeah, I believe that. So you have almost, most, and utmost.
Almost, most, and utmost is the zenith, the pinnacle, the top. So if I was life coaching you, I just want you to be the best version of you. That's all I want.
But why don't you think people get there, Tim? Like, tell me why you think, and you've coached enough people to know that there's always excuses, but do you see a trend? Like, why do you think this is, though?
Okay, one of the biggest reasons people do not fulfill their goals is what I call life interruptions.
Okay. Yep. I remember you talking about this.
Okay. So life interruption. So here's a life interruption. Like, okay, you start your business, you're starting to do really well financially, and then you have a challenge in one of the areas of your life.
Yes.
Could be physically, could be mentally, could be an addiction.
Your family or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So some life interruption comes. It's almost like you're driving and a car sideswipes you. It's a life interruption.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
didn't expect it. You did not order it from Life's Diner. Here comes a life interruption. Most people are not equipped to handle life interruptions. So they have momentum, and then what they do is they stop.
It stops. Yeah.
Okay, so watch how cool this is.
Okay.
So if you come to LA and you get on the freeways, okay,
Oh yeah. No thanks.
super crowded.
Yeah.
Any time of the day, it's crowded.
Yes.
So one time this really happened to me.
Okay.
I'm driving my car, and a tire comes out of the back of somebody's truck.
Oh, no.
So watch, bam, a
Coming
tire
flying at you.
down you. It's a true story.
Okay.
I look to my left, I look to my right. The right's free. I go right. The tire keeps going. I would have been hit by a tire.
So you dodged it.
I dodged it.
Yes.
Life interruption. Number two, another thing happened. True story. I'm driving. Out of nowhere, I see a bed has fallen, like the bottom of the bed, whatever that's called, not the mattress.
Yeah. The base.
The base has come out of something, a truck. And so it's on the freeway, but I'm moving. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. If I stopped, I would have been hit. I maneuver. Okay. So one time it's a tire. Second time I got a bed.
I don't feel like this is luck. This isn't luck. This is like a skill you have.
This is a skill.
Yes.
Okay. So another time, Amy, I'm driving down the freeway and it's at a standstill. So I don't know what's going on. I don't have all these fancy devices on my phone that tell me what's going on.
Yes.
So I ask the young person next to me, I go, what's happening? They go, there's some kind of an oil spill. There's an oil spill.
Oh, no.
I said, ooh, man, what is like the closest place I can get off? And they said, literally right there. So I went like this, waved, and got off. Now, so just to figure it out, I did my research to find out how long that freeway was clogged.
Okay.
It was clogged for almost 1 day.
Oh my goodness.
So watch. So some life interruptions we dodge.
Yeah.
Some life interruptions we slow down.
Okay.
Some life interruptions take a whole doggone day to clean up. Okay?
Take time.
People do not know how to do that.
So how do you think that relates to finance? So we obviously talk in this show about money and finances. And so what I see, I do a lot of financial planning, as you know, with my investors. And it can be really frustrating sometimes because you show them the numbers, right? The numbers don't lie. You're like, look, this is if you do XYZ. This is if you don't do XYZ. Here's your net worth in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever.
Yes.
And the numbers don't lie, but yet sometimes things change temporarily, but then they ultimately go back to normal. Sometimes things don't change at all. And sometimes they fall off the face of the earth. Like they're not even trying. They just disagree, like, so why is this? I mean, is it because of the immediate gratification that they don't get, so sometimes they dodge it, they can slow down, but if it takes time, it's like, I'm losing my mind. I don't
100%. So I think it really does, Amy, come back to this law of the harvest.
Okay.
That when you are plowing, you got to keep on plowing. So to get to where you are in life, you had to keep on keeping on.
For sure.
So most people are great starters, but they have a hard time completing. And part of it is because they get distracted.
Right.
Keep on plowing, keep on planting, keep on watering, and then keep on harvesting. So I think distraction is the key. Okay, so you've done research like this as well.
Yes.
So we get about 50,000 images that are coming at us every single day. Even if you're driving down the street, we see billboards, we see things. We're even just barely on our phone. Things are coming.
Yeah. Subconsciously, we see things.
Yeah, things are coming. They're coming.
Right.
So what people are doing is that they're getting so distracted, they're not sticking with what's in front of them. So it's very important in the area of money. Like I spend time with a lot of people who do extremely well. So 2 days ago, I was literally at a house that is $40 million.
The The home alone is 40 million?
40 million. But part of it is the location. The location.
Location.
Where it was, but it's just literally, that was 2 nights ago. $40 million. Now, but when I get to know that family and find out how they got it the way I'm talking about. They plowed,
grinding,
planted, they watered, they harvested, they were grinding. Yes.
But why do you think people get off track? So what are some of the reasons? So distractions, obviously, they get off track, but then how do they get back on track? Like you talk about in your book, comeback. So a comeback is not a go back. So maybe it's this idea that we can go back in time and fix things versus moving forward.
I love that you've done your homework.
Yeah.
That is Oprah Winfrey's favorite quote of Tim Storey.
I know it.
A comeback is not a go back.
Go back.
Because we have a setback and we always want to go back and fix it. Yeah. So how do we stay on track? We keep listening to Amy.
Yeah.
So like you are better than I am at what you do. I'm just gonna tell you are.
Okay.
So find experts in their field and pay a doggone attention.
Okay, but then the trust factor comes in, as you know, like in our business, in our industry, who do I trust? Okay, there's Tim, who's a life coach. There's all these people that are a life coach. There's Amy, that's a financial advisor. There's all these people that are advisors. How do you know who to trust?
Okay, so
pray about it. Pray for clarity.
That's part of it.
Okay.
The second is be patient.
Be patient.
See what somebody's like over a long period of time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So LeBron James, I've been following him since high school.
Yes.
In high school, he was a phenom. Yep. But you never knew if the kid was going to be a bust. He comes to the NBA, does well. Goes to another team, does well. Goes back to the old team, does well. I live in LA. We were really hoping we'd get him. Now he's coming to the Lakers. Now,
right.
I was talking to somebody on the inside. The Laker season tickets. There's never been a movement like there is now.
Really?
Shaq. Everybody wants to go to Laker games. They've sold out all their packages. Season tickets are sold out because of one player. You know why?
One person.
Proven. He's proven.
He's proven it.
You know why I'm on your show? You're proven.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Yeah,
You're making it happen.
That's so true. That's the proof is in the pudding, as the saying goes, I guess. But I mean, it's still hard sometimes to how do you differentiate yourself? I mean, I know how you differentiate yourself. I want you to tell others how you differentiate yourself. For the person wanting to start a business today, because we have a lot of business owners that watch this, it's still hard sometimes to differentiate yourself, especially in the world that's flooded from social media. You have everybody on social. So if, like you said, you follow them, that's great. But how do they flip it now? How do they, in a sea of everything is flooded, differentiate themselves from the pack? How do they stick out?
Okay, so here's what I want to say first of all, is that some of the things that you will say and I will say will sound similar to what they've heard before. But there's an experience behind what you're doing because you've been doing it for a while.
Long time, yeah.
There's an experience behind what I've been doing because I've been doing it for a while.
Yes.
So for all you that are watching, listening, please pay attention. Okay.
Right. Yes.
In the sports metaphor, so I've used two today, one with LeBron. The second sports metaphor is this. When you're playing baseball, stop trying to hit home runs all the time. The most powerful guys that I know, and I have many billionaires that I life coach, not a couple, I just said many.
Many. Yeah, there's a lot of billionaires in this world.
You got to hit singles.
Yeah.
Hit a single. Builds your confidence. Watch. Look at me. Watch. I'm on first base.
Okay.
Hit another single. Watch. Look at me. I'm on first base.
Yes.
Hit a single. Quit trying to hit home runs.
Yeah.
I think too many people in business that just start, they're trying to hit triples and home runs too fast and they're getting frustrated.
Don't you think that goes back to the time aspect then too? Because they're trying to hit home runs because they want it right now.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, it does.
Gotta be patient.
Patience. For those of you just joining, we have a lot of people hopping on. We're here with the legendary Tim Storey, motivational speaker, travels worldwide to mentor and life coach people in all walks of life. I am so fortunate to have him here. We're just talking about so many different things, but we've talked about why people need to prepare, plow, plant, and nourish and grow and harvest. We've talked about that in business. We've also talked about the almost life, the most life, and the utmost life. We've already covered that. And we're talking about distractions and how to stay on course, not only in finances, but in your life. I think that is so important that we as financial advisors, that I take into the account the psychology of the client. And my background is psychology. I went for psychology first, and I've used that almost just as much as my finance. But the psychology of the person is where you come in too. Like, you have to change their mental state, right? Like you have to get them dedicated and committed to what they want. But how do they know what they want? Like, sometimes I'm trying to tell people, that's my job, is to tell people like, well, you know, success is here. If you want this amount of income, then you need to get here. You know, so how do you match that up with where they need to be versus where they want to be? Uh-oh. Are you still there? My babe, Tim Storey. Can you guys still hear me, or can you just hear him? Let's see. Is he on Wi-Fi? If you guys can hear me out there, comment, because I think he kind of froze. Oh, he did freeze. And now he just left. He'll be rejoining. Can you guys hear me, or are we not live on Facebook anymore? I think it still says live, but if you guys can hear me, let me know. You can hear me? Okay. Well, Miranda, we're going to get him back on, hopefully, because she just said this is perfect for her business. And the clock is still ticking. You guys can hear me? Okay, so while he hopefully comes back on, if not, then no big deal. Okay. So far we've talked about a few things with Tim. One of his main things, and I highly suggest that you go back to the Oprah interview and listen to his comeback is not a go back. I think that's huge. I think a lot of us definitely think, well, if I could just go back, I think I would change. You know, what would I learn? Instead, we need to move forward. You know, we can make a comeback, we can move forward, but we cannot go back in time. We can only move forward. And actually that relates to finance. Oh, there he is. Hey, nice job, Joseph. He's back. Yay. See, no big deal. Everybody stayed on too.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for staying on.
Guys.
You guys are amazing.
I told you the technology thing, you know, not my whole thing, but it's been working out okay.
Yes.
Did you just lose it on Wi-Fi, or what happened? Do you know?
I have no idea. I was just here. I was just listening to you. You were saying some profound things, and then bam,
I asked you a question, and all of a sudden your face is not moving. And I'm thinking, I
was like this.
Either I asked a really bad question, or he's frozen.
No, but this is the beauty of doing things live.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
We're genuine.
So you were going through the things we had talked about, and then we were talking about distractions, and that's where you were.
Right. So in financial planning, as I was saying, sometimes I have to almost tell them where they want to be. So like, for instance, if they say, no, in retirement, I need to have $100,000 in income. Where do I need to be? And so I back into it, you know, but that's not necessarily where they quote unquote want to be or believe they should be. Okay. How do I, as an advisor, align where they need to be with what they want to be? You know, how do I bring the two together? Call you?
Call me anytime. No. So here's the deal. I think that one of the things that you're trying to teach people is to use wisdom and to be practical, right?
Practical is a big piece of it.
Okay, it's a real big piece, And sometimes you have to be patient, having to do with the reward coming. We are in a system, in a society that wants the instant reward, the instant gratification.
No.
And it takes time. Like even this big mega house that I was in 2 days ago, I like to find out like how people made their money.
Yeah.
It was the old plow, plant, water, and then next thing you know, it all hit at once.
Yeah.
Okay. But you as an advisor and a planner, what are you doing? You're helping us to plan,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Not just for the here and now, but for the future.
Right.
Yeah.
We say like not every dollar that you make today is for today. It doesn't all belong to today. So you talk about this, and this is very recent, but you had a talk, a speech that I saw. Your miracle is just around the corner.
Yes.
So I want to talk about that for a minute because we're talking about there's a roadblock sometimes in financial planning. So I try to review this constantly to make sure we're on track. But sometimes people are in need of a miracle to happen, they feel like, to get to where they need to be. So if they go through something in life, they go through a challenge, and they have to do whatever they got to do, dodge it, slow down, whatever. But sometimes they just feel like they flat out need a miracle. And here's where the faith piece of you comes in. And I really love this about you and what you do, because not a lot of people bring business and faith together, but
Yes.
you certainly do. So talk about that for a minute. If you are in need of a miracle, your miracle is just around the corner. Let's talk about that concept.
Okay. So there is a proverb that says this: unrelenting disappointment can leave you heartsick. So let's break this down. This is so good. Unrelenting means something keeps happening.
Right.
So it's like a dripping faucet. So unrelenting. It's not like I got disappointed once and then I got disappointed 6 months later. Unrelenting disappointment. I keep getting disappointed.
Over and over and over. And I know some of the people watching right now, I know you feel that way.
Come on, you guys. This is for you. That's why you're watching me and Amy.
Yes.
Amy, we got a future. We're a tag team.
Yay.
Okay. So unrelenting, it keeps coming.
Yes.
Disappointment means something did not work. Disappointment, I missed my appointment. See,
right. Okay.
See, disappointment is I missed my appointment. I thought it was going to happen. It didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Thought it was going to take place. It didn't take place. Okay.
Right.
So unrelenting disappointment leaves me heartsick. This is the problem. Heart sick. The heart is your core, right?
Right.
Joy comes from your heart. Peace comes from your heart.
Love,
faith.
yes.
Okay? Even laughter comes from your heart. So if you're sick in the heart, if it makes you heart sick, you're now sick in your center.
Mm-hmm.
So unrelenting disappointment can leave you heart sick in the center. But it says a sudden good break can turn your life around. Okay, watch how beautiful this is.
So good.
All right, so if I talk to Vidal Sassoon, who's now in heaven, who is my great friend. So Vidal Sassoon, we're talking, and he says, Tim, I got a sudden good break. I was a good hair cutter. I worked hard, but I did this certain cut on a lady named Twiggy, who was a famous model / actress,
yes.
cuts her hair, okay?
Yes.
And boom, sudden good break, everybody finds out about it.
Like what everybody wants.
I talked to Jerry Lorenzo, the famous designer, does the whole designer for huge people. He says, I was creating amazing things. He names a famous guy that everybody would know if I said his name. This famous guy says, I want to wear these clothes. He starts wearing them.
Boom.
Bam. I mean, Zambo. Okay.
Zambo.
What's that? Sudden good break.
Yes.
So here's what I believe.
Okay.
That your miracle is just around the corner. Quit giving up on stuff. A sudden good break can turn your life around. Okay?
Absolutely.
So my sudden good break was when a famous actress invited me to her house to do an inspirational talk.
Okay.
Most of the people that were there are Jewish in faith. I come there, out of 13 people, 10 are mega stars.
Yeah.
Then
How did you know this actress? How did you meet this actress?
She came to see me speak.
Oh, okay. So she saw you speak somewhere.
She came to see me speak, and she says, "Hey, you're animated. You're interesting. Can you do this?" I mean, it was mega people.
Yeah.
What was that? Sudden good break.
Sudden good break.
And then sudden good break, sudden good break, sudden good break. A break, watch, is an opening. Look for the break.
And
Quit
when you, go ahead.
looking down. Quit looking down. Look for the break.
Keep your head up.
Keep your head up.
And when I know you went through some trauma when you were younger, you mentioned, you talk a lot about it. So I know you're okay with talking about it, but talk about you lose your dad when you're only 10.
Yes.
And then 2 years later, you lose your sister, right?
You really do your research.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so,
I'm a planner. Hello.
yeah, so both to car accidents. And
Yes,
that's
both
the
car
thing.
accidents.
We're just minding our own business.
How was your mother?
See, the thing is, so my mother, who I will go see in about an hour and a half from now,
Okay.
I'm like the greatest son.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
I love my mom. She's 87. She's Spanish. She speaks very broken English.
Okay.
Her first language is Spanish. I will be there in an hour and a half. I crack her up. I watch Spanish TV with her. But mainly she likes my jokes.
Yeah.
But she's super strong. She walks strong. She is strong. She's 87. I think my mother was just built to last. So she just didn't endure. She's living a very powerful life.
Yeah.
She learned to get through.
She did. Because that's what people deal with. Like, that's what sometimes derails people, Tim, like they're on track, they're going great. And then all of a sudden something in life happens, and that's very traumatic. What you went through, what your mom went through. Is that where faith comes in? Is that where your foundation comes in?
Amy, let's talk about this. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Okay. So
let's do it.
When a life, disruption comes.
Yes, life disruption. Mm-hmm.
It's going to come.
It will come. Oh, I tell people this all the time. It will come. So just plan for it.
Okay. So plan for it.
Yes.
So when it happens, so I'm gonna coach just like I do like major movie stars or whoever I deal with.
Live.
Number one.
Coaching from Tim Storey right now.
Number one, for free.
For free.
Number one, you got to isolate the problem.
Okay.
Okay. And here's what people usually do. They go like, everything's wrong. So you know what I say to them? I go, okay, write down the everything that's wrong.
But sometimes they write down a symptom of the problem.
Ooh.
Yes.
Let me write down.
I see.
Let me write down what Coach Amy just.
I'm going to challenge you. This is.
Oh my! I just wrote down symptom. Okay, you're right. You're right. Okay. So number one, you have to isolate the problem. So you agree with that? Isolate it. What's the problem?
Totally agree.
Okay, that's like if you go to the dentist and there's something wrong with your teeth. What are they going to do? They're going to X-ray.
Right.
So they're going to isolate the problem. Okay. So number one, you got to isolate the problem. So you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is it's good to partner with the right people to find out who has been through that problem. Okay.
Who understands the process, right?
And how they successfully had the right outcome.
Okay. Good.
Okay? So that's why your program is working.
Yes.
Because you're giving answers that work. That's why my life coaching is always filled. That's why I speak all over the world. All these things are happening. Why? Because I work super hard to get good at this. Don't ask me to cook. I'm not great.
Me neither.
Don't ask me.
I think I'm an okay cook, but my husband, I don't know what he would say about it.
Well, we will ask him soon.
Okay.
So you isolate the problem and you got to partner with the right people. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Number three, Miss Amy, you have to find the right tools. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about tools, skills, and attitude.
Okay.
To get out of a problem, what tool do I need? You need the right tools.
Right.
All right. So in the area,
part of those tools, finding the right team.
Yes. Because within the team could be the right tools.
Okay.
All right. So like, let's say if someone's struggling in the area of finances and they just keep getting into debt, getting into debt, getting into debt.
Which
Okay?
happens. Yes.
What you are doing is you are teaching tools, skills, and attitude.
An attitude.
Tools, skills,
An
and
attitude.
you have to have the right tools. You find out you have to have the right skills because you create the skills, and then you have to have the right attitude.
You have to have the skills to use the tools.
100%.
Yes. And
Yes.
the right attitude to use your skills with your tools.
Yes. And so this is what I do. So like, if you see him on TMZ, it's a good possibility I'm working with him. If there's an entertainer who's in trouble, and here's what a lot of people say to me. They say, "You're telling me the obvious."
Yeah.
I go, "Yeah, I am, and it's working, isn't it? Do you see? Do you notice that you don't want to do math
You're
right
holding
now?"
them accountable, I think, is the difference. You're holding them accountable, right?
Yes, I
If
am.
you've got the skills and you've got the tools, the attitude piece is the piece that will waver, and you've got to hold them accountable for that.
Is this not one of the biggest mugs in the history of mugdom?
Right?
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. I really like it though. Dream.
It's hot tea. Hot tea is good for your throat. So we all go through life challenges.
Yes.
Isolate the doggone problem,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Find the right partners. That's why you are connected to Amy. Amy, how can people connect to you more? How do they get your services? Tell me.
Just go to my website, novawealthmanagement.com.
And
We're
when you
really,
offer.
we're really just in the last, I'm kind of behind in the whole social media thing. We really just in the last 8 months, because I always grew our business from referrals
Okay.
for the last 8 years. So
Okay.
the social media thing is fairly new for me, not to mention the compliance and all the issues in my industry is a little tough. So we had to become our own registered investment advisor and everything. So.
Okay. So they go to your website.
Yep.
And how do we work with you? If somebody wants to work with you with their finances, how do they go about that?
So 2 to 3 ways. And I don't want to confuse people. I don't want to take too much time away from you, but we're fee-based advisor. So we don't do the whole commission route.
Right.
Charge a flat percentage fee on assets under management. That's the first way if you have assets to manage.
Okay.
But the second route is planning, just hourly planning, right? So some people don't have the assets yet. They need the planning to get the assets. So I don't just simply say no, simply because you don't have any assets, you can't work with us, but we're going to plan to get you the assets. If you're willing to save with us, we'll work with you. And then the third way is really just getting people out of debt. We're creating courses because I sit with people, and my husband would get on me about this too, but I sit with people and give them time because I know they need the help and they can't afford to go anywhere else. And I don't want them to go anywhere else in case they find somebody that would want to take advantage of them. So instead of sitting and giving my physical time, we're creating courses to help those people that need to get out of debt. So those are the 3 ways.
Love it.
Right?
You're helping to change people's lives. Because listen, when you're in debt, it puts you in so much pressure. Because I remember as a kid, when we could not afford stuff. And sometimes, I got to be honest with you, Amy, I'll go into a toy store as an adult and just buy stuff that I don't even need.
I'm really bad at Costco. Oh, it's bad. It's really bad. I'll go in for 2 things and walk out with $500. Oh, it's bad. No, so I get it. I get the problems. I get it. It's a real struggle, so what would you give advice to, let's say, go back to before you even got in business, go back to your 19, 18-year-old self. What advice would you give that 19-year-old Tim Storey today? How would you do anything differently? Probably not.
I would not do much different, but here's what I would do different is I would say that I would not listen to as many people. And what happens because
family? You mean family trying to say, you should do this and you should do this. I once heard somebody speaking say, you shouldn't use the word should.
I'm hearing you.
It's kind of like a lecture, you should do this.
I see your point. I agree. So I feel that because I'm so open.
Yes.
I
know that. Open book.
So because I'm so open and I'm nice, I've had a lot of people that are like armchair quarterbacks that when I was young, they were constantly telling me, this is how I see it. This is how I see it. This is how I see it. So it wasn't until like my mid-20s that I just owned that I was Tim Storey.
Oh, yeah, that's good. You got to
Like,
own who you are.
I own it.
Yeah.
I own it. I can't cook. I told you that. I'm working on it. But in the area of what I do, holy schmoly guacamole.
Oh.
That's why I got this big mug to drink out of. I can afford it.
Yeah, I know it. Okay, this is the last question I'm going to ask you, and this is going to apply to almost everybody who's watching too, and I know it is. And this is the question I've been waiting to ask you. And we were already 45 minutes into this thing. I can't even believe it. But so, ready? When we're all in our lives, our everyday lives, we're working, we're grinding, we're doing our business, or we're doing our 9-to-5 job, whatever it is, we get so involved in the daily distractions, right? As you call them, the distractions. How do we stay consistent just in general, but B, how do we stay on track with our walk with the Lord? Like, I know, again, I'm bringing it back to faith, but I am a huge person of faith, as you also know. And I'm really interested because, you know, a lot of times in business, it's so easy to get consumed in your work and everything that you're doing instead of the reason why you're doing it or the reason why you're meant to be doing it. How do you stay consistent? How do you keep people on track in their walk of their overall life purpose? Okay.
Beautiful way to end this interview.
Yes.
Thanks for taking it down this road. I'm going to give you quick.
I'm out of paper, so.
I'm going to give you 3 Ds. This is going to be very quick.
3 Ds.
Number 1 is desire. Write down desire.
Desire.
Number 2 is discipline. Number 3 is delight.
Okay.
So number 1 is that we have a desire to spend time with those we love.
Yes.
But we have to have discipline to make the time. That's why even like as a married couple, you're married, you have a special time like date night, right?
Oh, that's beyond hard.
Okay. So
don't even.
So we have the desire to be with those we love.
Yes.
The discipline. And then it goes into the delight, which is to actually then you're with the one you love and you're connected. It's the same thing with my relationship with God. Okay. Like I really love God. So I have the desire to be around God, the things of God, the people of God. But every single day I have the discipline.
Yes.
To do it. So what do? Whether it's like reading a devotional like Jesus Calling.
I'll have him answer your question in a second, Jason. Just hold on.
Okay, so I might read a devotional like called Jesus Calling, or I go through the Psalms, I go through the Proverbs. So when I wake up in the morning, I feed my soul first.
First thing you do.
Yes, and I wake up super early. You get a routine.
You got a routine down, right?
I have a routine, and I'm not getting off it because I'm in trouble.
Right.
If I get off it, I'm in trouble because there's so many people pulling on me that if my tank's not full, I'm in trouble.
Right.
So I have the discipline to read the Psalms, the Proverbs, to read a devotional, to have a prayer time. And even when I walk or run or on the treadmill, I am praying, or sometimes I'm listening to motivational messages that are Christian, or listening to worship music. So the desire, the discipline leads to delight, and holy schmoly, then you have a powerful life. Last thing, the Bible says the people who know their God shall be strong and do great things.
Oh, I love
it. By knowing him, I'm going to manifest. Amy, guess what you're doing right now? You're manifesting. I am manifesting. Bam, bam, boom, bam. Everywhere. It's not going to stop. The people who know their God shall be strong and do great things. We will manifest.
That's absolutely true. There's one question, Tim, that actually kind of really, this is a tough one. Do you have any advice for someone that can't get a job because of their past life? That's tough.
Yes, I'm working with myself, Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal. We have a company, a group called ARC. Also Scott Budnick, who did The Hangover, Brent Bolton.
ARC or ARK?
ARC. So if they look at ARC online, how we're helping prisoners. Prison reform is what we're up to. And we started this with Robert Downey, who's one of my great friends, in a conversation about 7 years ago. And now it's a massive movement of helping people that have been incarcerated, because a lot of times they come out, they try to get a job, they got to write down felon. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Look for the open doors. So whether you've been a felon or whether you're a person who society has put a stigma on you, look for the open door. There are people like Amy, like Tim Storey, that we have mercy, we have compassion.
Absolutely.
And you will find a break.
Yeah.
The world will give you a break. We help people find breaks in their jobs, in their education, but there's a lot of organizations that are doing the same.
Absolutely. And you're starting a rehab facility, aren't you?
Yeah, I have, I'm part owner of 5 of them right now.
Oh my goodness.
We have a new one. We have a new one with Christina El Musa and Tim Storey.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah, we have a new show coming out with me and Christina El Musa from Flip or Flop. It's coming out in 2019, where we help people, we bring them to a ranch and we help change their life.
That's awesome. Before we wrap up, we got to wrap this up. Anything else you want to leave anybody with?
Well, I'd like to talk about our app. We have an app.
Cool.
It's called Utmost with Tim Storey. And it's everything that we're talking about every single day. All right. 7 days a week. I help you to hold on to your utmost life. It's out of this world. It's only $1.99. If you do not like it, then just tell Amy and she'll give you at least 99 cents back.
I'll give you the full thing back because I know nobody's going to see
Out of this world. Utmost. It's on iTunes.
And your website, how can people get a hold of you? Look at
TimStorey.com. STOREY. TimStorey.com.
You are amazing, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. I can't thank you enough. I know you just impacted a lot of lives today for sure. So thank you so much for everything.
Amy, what a privilege. I look forward to sharing the stage with you. You're going to do gigantic things.
You're so sweet.
Tell your husband I said hello.
I will. We'll talk to you soon.